let me now discuss Drake. Rumors are circulating that the so-called Drake-A-Wish Foundation is failing, and his brand new tour is already in difficulty after just a few gigs. If you thought his tumultuous image could not get much worse, wait. History appears to be repeating itself with his new Loser Link-Up tour, and it has only just started, following the disastrous Anita Max Win tour, which ended suddenly in pandemonium. For this most recent run of events, Drake, 40, who still insists on being referred to as the boy, teamed up with Party Next Door, promoting it as though it would be his big return. However, rather than demonstrating that he has regained control, the situation is rapidly getting out of hand. So far, fans have been subjected to poor performances, dubious stage antics, and rumors that managers are already frantically trying to keep everything from collapsing, despite the promise of something exceptional, not to mention that Drake has been trying to salvage his reputation following years of humiliating failures. He released strange, hour-long, artistic videos, such as the famous chase sequence with Pinocchio that left everyone perplexed, and attempted to divert our attention with sporadic collaborations, such as his flat link-up with Central C. These frantic actions indicate that he is aware that his throne is in jeopardy and is doing all in his power to stay relevant. Drake is trying to promote this story in spite of all the scandals, failures, and embarrassing material. Attempting to generate excitement, win back fans, and demonstrate that there are still individuals who are prepared to pay for a Drake performance in 2025. The worst part is that the people who still support him are not there for anything revolutionary, they are only holding on to soothing, gentle music that hardly touches the surface. The topic at hand is straightforward. Is Drake's alleged return trip already degenerating into yet another public rail disaster? Not only is Drake losing casual followers, but it appears that he does not even give a damn about the devoted fans who have supported him through all of his scandals and failures. One of the most bizarre and perplexing cancellations I have ever witnessed in modern music history was what he did less than 24 hours before to one of his For You tour dates. The shocking news is that Drake's July 28th show in Manchester was abruptly cancelled. The justification: Drake's representatives and the venue claim that the unanticipated boat timetable and travel arrangements were to blame. You read correctly. A multi-millionaire international celebrity is now accusing a boat timetable of abandoning thousands of paying admirers. The dubious part is that Drake was not even stranded far away. He had spent days in Manchester, literally. He gave 2 performances in the same arena on July 25th and July 26th. In what way does the rapid emergence of a travel concern make sense? Because it seems like a sloppy justification to cancel his own program. Fans are seeking answers. Consider the enormity of this catastrophe. To see him, tens of thousands of admirers reserved hotels, trains, and airplanes. Drake surprises them with a cancellation that seems like a horrible joke just as the venue, crew, and staff are getting ready to deal with the mayhem of another night. This was not just irresponsible, but simply rude for someone at his status. Therefore, the true issue is, did Drake really just ruin an entire concert because of this, or was he concealing something more serious? In either case, the fans do not like the way it looks. The problem is that doing a performance that is already prepared is one of the simplest things to do while on tour. With the stage still in place, the lighting and sound set up, and essentially all the heavy work completed, the crew can relax. This is why the cancellation in Manchester is causing a stir throughout the globe. Nothing that would typically need a last-minute closure was there, such as a wild travel hall or a stage that needed to be rebuilt. Drake nevertheless cut the connection. Given how carefully these major tours are organized, this is just nonsensical, much as the strange cancellations of Anita Max's wins. It is unusual for a celebrity like Drake to abruptly cancel a gig unless something really goes wrong. However, if you look at Drake, there was no immediate crisis or emergency. Acting as like nothing was wrong, he was out in public creating TikToks and sharing embarrassing videos. This cancellation is suspicious because of that. Why could not he take the stage for his hard-earned money-paying followers if he has enough time to be publicly humiliating himself online? It is not as though he vanished or experienced a personal crisis. He was basically everywhere, just acting like Drake. What do we have left, then? Just 2 plausible explanations. Either Drake and his crew attempted to conceal the fact by making a flimsy justification about travel problems, or this was just another instance of low ticket sales being ignored. Additionally, keep in mind that they used the same justification for canceling the Anita Max victory. Coincidence? Or is this Drake's go-to tactic when the audience fails to arrive? Let us be honest. These performances are not impromptu appearances. These kinds of tours are organized months in advance, with travel dates, locations, logistics, and itineraries thought out long before tickets are even available for purchase. Drake's justification of travel problems is therefore absurd. No matter how you spin it, it simply does not add up. And now there is a vicious backlash. Plans for thousands of fans were ruined. Individuals who made reservations for lodging, purchased train tickets, took time off work, and otherwise dedicated their life to simply being there. Fans are furiously attacking Drake on social media, accusing him of ruining their plans. For many, watching him was the focal point of a whole weekend, not simply a performance. And everything blew up in smoke at the last minute. The kicker is this: slow ticket sales were not the issue here. This was not a case of low demand. People were talking about the Manchester event and it was sold out. Drake still abruptly ended the show at the last minute, leaving supporters without a clear reason and with empty pockets. That is disrespectful in addition to being careless. Now, everyone wants to know what Drake's true situation is. Because why would he cancel without a good reason if the venue was already full and the supporters were prepared? It is obvious that the logistical story is false. Furthermore, the alleged explanation increasingly appears to be a complete fabrication. And the fractures in your empire really start to show when you lie to your fans, especially the ones who are still faithful enough to attend. When everything is said and done, this entire situation highlights Drake's greatest weakness and explains why so many people consider him to be one of the most disappointing hip-hop artists ever. In actuality, Drake comes out as sluggish, unfocused, and totally engrossed in his own small world, where only he counts. Last-minute show cancellations, last-minute show rescheduling, and putting fans in suspense. Not only is it terrible business, but it also gives the impression that he does not give a damn. It does not appear to be a scheduling problem at this time. That it appears to be a matter of commitment. Drake is demonstrating to the world that he does not care how many admirers are waiting for him to arrive up. This is what exacerbates the situation. This is a man who constantly boasts about having access to everything he desires at any time, private aircraft, and limitless wealth. But all of a sudden, we are expected to think that he was prevented from getting to the arena by a fairy timetable. The stage was basically fully put up when the crews and fans arrived. What is Drake's justification, then? It just does not make sense. This is also not a one-time mistake. In this period alone, Drake has cancelled or slipped out of over 5 performances. Each time, the pattern becomes more obvious and the justifications become less compelling. He is evading accountability and recklessly drowning his own tour. That is not only humiliating, but it might jeopardize his career as an artist of his caliber. Additionally, Kendrick Lamar is doing something very different from Drake, who is out here canceling performances like a lazy employee phoning in sick. Kendrick has not cancelled a single show on his massive national tour since April. No matter the weather, he has been performing night after night and leaving audiences with outstanding performances. Compared to Drake, who seems to be averse to responsibilities, he is superior simply because of his constancy. The disparity between Drake and Kendrick is ridiculous when compared side by side. Even at his best, Drake could never match the magnitude of Kendrick's performances, which are more than simply concerts. Nevertheless, Kendrick continues to play for the fans who purchase tickets, with no fuss, no cancellations, and no excuses. Drake, meantime, behaves like the worst coworker you have ever had by avoiding the situation at the last minute and leaving the cleanup to be done by everyone else. For this reason, even in his alleged heyday, Drake was never able to achieve the level that Kendrick has attained. Kendrick raises rather than lowers expectations. Not only is he establishing himself as the first rapper to take hip-hop on a full-scale stadium tour, but he is also bearing the burden of the whole genre, and rather of crumbling under that burden, he is demonstrating that hip-hop is a suitable genre for the world's largest stages. Fans and industry insiders are aware of it. Kendrick is a leader, dependable, and professional. No fluff, no last-minute excuses, no fictitious travel problems, just brilliantly accomplished artwork every single night. That in such circumstances, no one prevails. Having witnessed the inner workings of the touring industry, I can assure you that every cancellation has a significant impact on dozens of individuals. The staff that labor behind the scenes do not get paid. The fans were urged to return next month after wasting money, time, and effort. Drake's disaster has forced even the venue staff, who had already rearranged their schedules once, to change their lives. For all those concerned, it is anarchy, and that is the reason this is so unsightly. Drake is being blatantly unprofessional in addition to being challenging. This has nothing to do with being choosy or a diva, Rather, it has to do with not meeting the very minimum of expectations, such as showing up and performing that he was referred to be the face of hip-hop for years, but incidents like these show that he should never have been given that title in the first place. Fans, meanwhile, cannot help but draw comparisons between him and Kendrick Lamar, who consistently sells out stadiums and puts on performances that are referred to as once-in-a-lifetime events. Contrarily, Drake is canceling karaoke-level concerts because he is not in the mood. With each justification he gives, the stark contrast makes his purported return seem even more pitiful. The ripple effect is now beginning to manifest. Drake's cancellation of an event like this affects more than just one night. That it makes everyone question everything. Once loyal followers are now reluctant to purchase tickets in advance, promoters start to wonder if he is worth the risk, and sponsors start to wonder if they want their brand associated with him. No one wants to shell out hundreds of dollars just to have their last-minute travel excuse used against them. An artist may suffer from this type of harm for years. Nowadays, the real money in music comes from touring, and Drake is developing a reputation for being unpredictable just when his career most needs steadiness. In contrast, consider Kendrick Lamar. Venues know Kendrick will fill the building, fans know he will deliver, and promoters know he will show up. Drake, meanwhile, appears to be more of a risk than a sure bet. Not to mention the aesthetics, fans are already making fun of him online, labeling him the no-show king, making fun of his laziness, and making every cancellation into a joke. That label sticks after the internet has applied it to you. Worse, it gives him a terrified appearance that he is afraid of empty venues, poor ticket sales, and the realization that his star power has diminished. Ultimately, this is about more than simply Manchester. It has to do with trust. Drake is now making waves among fans and industry insiders alike. The true loss is that, additionally, he cannot just hide it with a new collaboration or flashy music video. Let us get back to the main query. Who is actually winning this feud at the moment? I want to hear from you. Even while Drake is out there canceling performances, making clumsy explanations, and appearing to be on the decline once more, while Kendrick and even Pusha T are piling wins. What implications do you believe Drake's cancellations will have for the remainder of this tour? Is the so-called boy about to have another breakdown? Or is he going to make a surprise return move? This argument is going out of control, so please share your opinions in the comments section, and please do me a great favor if you have watched this far in the video. Press the like button, click subscribe, then forward this to someone who should hear it. You might be surprised to learn how much it improves the channel, and stay put. Because just before to this catastrophe, Pusha T released one of the harshest rap albums of the decade, unleashed a brand new diss, and showed off one of the coldest victory laps we have seen in years. This made Drake's situation much worse. That meltdown is something you do not want to miss. Watch the recommended video by clicking this link.